Kurt Hammer woke up at 11:31 a.m. the next day. His head felt like a water balloon about to burst. What happened yesterday, he thought. Kurt had no clue, but when he realized that he had eventually fallen asleep in his own bed, a satisfied little smile spread across his lips. Slowly but surely he opened his eyes and then looked around the room. It was covered with red wallpaper and sparsely furnished. Except for the double bed fashioned from dark wood and 2 nightstands, it contained nothing but a closet. When he turned his head, he almost lost his breath. Lying beside him in the bed was a Peruvian woman in her late 20s. She had long, jet-black hair, which touched her shoulders as well as bangs. Her big lips were still painted red from the night before. Kurt noticed, too, that she had a fairly long scar over her right eye. Kurt lightly touched her naked shoulder. She opened her eyes slowly. Then she turned around and looked up at Kurt. Under a couple of thick but manicured brows were almond-shaped eyes with pupils like coffee beans. "Madre Dios," she cried. "Mother of God." She jumped out of bed, dragging the bedsheet she used to cover her breasts. "What happened yesterday?" she asked. "I had hoped that you could give me the answer to that," Kurt replied. "Are you used to waking up with strange women by your side?" It's been a while, but it's happened. Who are you?" Kurt smiled carefully. "I'm Sarah Sofia Ulo. I went out with friends last night, and Madre Dios, they must be wondering where I went. Do you have a telephone I can borrow?" "Don't you have your own?" "I lent it to my friend last night before I blacked out." "I see." Kurt reached over on the nightstand, grabbed his iPhone 5S, and handed it to her. "Thanks," she said, and sat down on the edge of the bed with her back to him. After a couple of minutes, she concluded that her friend wouldn't pick up the telephone. "I'll send her a message," she said. Finally, she handed the cell phone to Kurt and started to dress. Sarah Sophia put on a short black skirt, long black leather boots, and a red corset. "Thanks for a nice night, which I can't remember anything of." As she was about to close the door behind her, she turned and said, "Next time, you better remember that in this country the men always open the door for the ladies." She winked. Well, that was awkward. I'll never drink again, Kurt thought after she'd left.